Hi, today we were going to discuss strategies or steps, if you like, for success. Um, some of the steps you might know, and some it might be described different by me, uh, but the principles are virtually the same. So, how to define a success? Success, like I mentioned in my previous videos, can be a different thing to each individual. So let's start perhaps with some definition of success. In my view, success is achievement of goals and desires by an individual. What I mean by that is that one of the strategies for success is a strategy where we really need to have goals. So without having the end result in our mind or on a piece of paper or both, we're really going to struggle to achieve success. It is just the same as if you would plan a journey by car from point A to point B. And what you need to do before I would sit down with the atlas or with the map and would follow the map to get to the place I want to go. Today we've got much easier because we simply set our GPS, and the GPS is giving us the instructions of which turning to take, which road to go, and so on, and we more or less know how long it will take us to reach our destination. And this GPS is also our goal. Our goal needs to be set in advance. We need to know where we're going. And once we know where we're going, we know how to set our GPS. And that GPS will define the road we're going to take in order to reach our goal, our desire. It is so important, and the reason for it is that we don't realize one thing, and many people really would probably laugh at this. However, I strongly believe, because I have experienced that, and there are many other people who will confirm that. In fact, if you are observing people who have attained success, they would also say the same thing. So, in order for us to get to our end result, whether it is a big house or whether it is a multi-million-pound business, whether we want to be millionaires or billionaires, it is entirely up to us what is our end goal. But we need to know how to get to that end goal and which steps to take, because otherwise we're going to be maybe missing a turning, maybe we're going to pass an opportunity which would take us to where we want to go. So setting goals is very important, and I will do a separate video on this. However, just a brief description. Goals need to be smart, and we need to remember that they have to be specific. And the specification is very, very important, because that will help us. But the most important part of achieving our goals is how we react to everything, and are we going to allow the universe to help us to achieve our goal? Because the universe can help us, providing we believe that this is going to happen. So these are the basics, the fundamentals, and the fundamentals need to be prepared, because if we do something without preparation, without research, we're going to really be struggling, and maybe at some point we might say, oh, I didn't expect that this is so hard, and we might back out, or we might basically simply give up and blame ourselves for something that we have not really done properly. So if we want to attain wealth, we have to go through certain stages of attaining it. It is not just simple, because if you look at people who win the lottery, most of them is penniless within less than 3 years. So if you don't want to be without money, and you want to have the wealth that you want to achieve, you need to take steps. You need to be patient, you need to be determined, you need to be consecutive, you need to be absolutely strict in the steps that you are taking. So for instance, if we are looking at achieving a business success, there are steps that we need to take. If we are looking to succeed in our personal life, there are steps to take as well. So that is the GPS I am talking about. So once we have the fundamentals ready, we've got the planning stage, we've got the goals, we can help ourselves with creating a vision board which contains pictures, videos of the things that we want to achieve. That is going to be a very helpful thing, because when we put that into universe is going to be working with us to help us to achieve that. But there is also another aspect to it. We need to be focused on our goals. We need to be concentrating, and we need to be absolutely specific on that, including setting the dates, including making even the day and the time of achievement. But when we are determined enough and we believe in what we achieve, if we put the feeling to it, that is going to be real power. Because if we put our mind and our feelings together, there is no bigger power than that. We will be flying to achieving our goals. It's very important to remember that, because when we don't believe, the achievement is going to be going away from us. So let's remember that. So we talked about goals. The motivation is the second aspect of going for goals and achieving success. If we are not motivated, what are we going to do? How can we motivate ourselves? The motivation comes from having the preparation ready, the basic things, the setting of the goals, being determined to achieve that, believe in achieving that, having goals which will motivate you, not goals that are simple to get, but do set yourself also goals which are difficult to attain, but they are attainable. You can achieve them. Set yourself a carrot, maybe at the end of it, once you achieve that, already in advance plan for yourself a prize that you're going to give yourself for that. Making the goals work is how passionate you are about attaining those goals, because passion is one of the critical ingredients in going to achieve your success. The next step of achieving success is knowledge. So when you set up a business, ask yourself, have you done enough research in to the field of business you wish to be in. So let's suppose you wish to open a traditional business. It could be a service or a product-based business. How much market research you have done? What is your knowledge about the actual business category that you are creating? Do you have any expertise? If you don't have the expertise, you need to speak to people who already have achieved something in that field and learn from them. You need to be able to drive to get the knowledge that is required. If you require extra skills, it is advisable that you take courses, you take training, you hire yourself a mentor or a coach who will be able to guide you and take you further through your journey to success. The other important aspect and the following step is extremely important, particularly in the current business environment. Education, self-education is a must. Today you also require a mentor or a coach for your business, not just because they are luxury. They are no luxury. They are the necessity of every business. We think we might know everything, but we don't. And the less mistakes we are likely to make in our journey to success, the better it will be and quicker we can achieve that. So talk to people who have been there, who have made that journey already. Get yourself a mentor or a coach and learn through other channels. For instance, you know very well that there is a channel called YouTube. There is so much information there through people who have done virtually everything that there is existing in the world today. Watch those videos, get in touch with those people, see how they can help you with getting to your goal, how they can mentor you, how they can give you suggestions. Read personal development books, and I really urge you to read a book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And the other two positions I would strongly advise you to read is a book by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and a Cash Flow Quadrant. These are the three books that I strongly recommend, and not just read them, but do study them. Have them always next to you, because the answers are there, and those books are really helpful for anyone in business and personal life. Go to seminars, go to talks, see how others are doing, network with people, meet people, and be able to discuss with them the challenges, the successes, and share your knowledge, share your experiences. You will be surprised how many very positive things will happen once you do that. You need to ensure that you personally adjust yourself to the environment, to the society, to the fact that you are dealing with customers, and you need to concentrate on keeping those customers and building the relationship long-term with your customers. Hire staff if necessary, and be able to supply enough work for your members of staff so they can share in the success of your company. You need to also be able to be open to training your staff so that they will be able to be more productive and take ownership of the fact that they are helping you to grow the business. It is very important that people know exactly where they are, because they will then feel important. They will be able to give a bigger production from themselves, and obviously you will be able to retain them long term instead of having to train new people all the time, which is absolutely costly, is not cost effective, and obviously is time consuming, because if you are the person who runs the business and you would need to deal with the training and other things which really take your time from working for the business, your time really should be more for the business than in the business. Delegate the work to other people, to your staff or maybe subcontractors and so on, and just overlook the business, which will help you even more. And next step to success is something which is very important and maybe not so easy to deal with: finances of the business. When you are a limited company, you must remember that the money that your company is making is not yours, is your company's money. So you have to provide strict accounts. You have to be able to know exactly what is happening in your business from the financial point of view. So you need to know what is the cash flow. You need to know who is owing your company money, who has to pay you, who you need to pay, etc., etc. It is also important that you set aside money that are coming in to your business. And my suggestion is always that if you can organize yourself saving account in addition to your current account for business, you will be able to save at least 10% of every invoice that you have issued and you're getting paid. So for instance, if you have issued an invoice for £1,000 to a client and that invoice was paid, the money has been paid into your bank, £100 can be transferred into your savings account, and the £900 is your cash flow to work on until you are getting the other money coming in. It is important to save the money for two reasons. A is that you will be able to save money for expenses at the time when your business have a turn. You will be able to have money to pay for eventual bills like wages, VAT, tax, etc., etc. So the minimum 10% is ideal to save onto your savings account, although subject to the type of business it is, what the turnover of the business is. If you can save 20%, that would be much advisable, because when you have a lump sum of money, you could actually invest maybe in another company, maybe you could invest in new equipment for your own company, maybe you will be able to finance the move to a bigger premises. There's so many things that you can fund and be able to deal with. When you use every penny from your cash flow coming in, when you don't save, it's very difficult. Also, you need to really strictly look at your expenses. So if you can make savings, for instance, in your overheads, do so. Don't be shy and don't think that your business is going to be doing brilliantly all the time. Particularly in the first 5 years, it is the time where you learn things, when your business is really seeing which way to go. So the first 5 years is important, and obviously you need to be able to sustain your financial stability, because when the company is financially stable, you are able to achieve far more. So cash flow is a key thing. And what I also suggest is that on your current account, do try to build up a 3 months expense balance. So in case you have a worse month, in case you have a downturn in your turnover, you are able to be stable financially and have that 3 months leeway to get back onto the standard of your income and turnover. You need to also budget. Make sure that you create for yourself a projection of the turnover and the profits for the next 12 months. You can either do it with the help of your accountant, or you can do a simple, very simple forecast and the planning by yourself by doing a list of things. What I would also add here is that when you're in business, you cannot rely just on your head, so to speak. Lots of business owners, when they go and meet customers and potential customers, they don't usually take any notebook or any diary with them, thinking that I will remember. We are so busy, we've got so many things to deal with, that a notebook is a must. And I always carry something like this, which is not always in my hand. I personally don't use electronic notebooks because I feel that the traditional way is better and it helps me to remember more. So that's what I do, and it's up to you how you're going to do it. But taking notes is vital, because you never know when you might need those notes, maybe in the dispute with the customer, or maybe something that you didn't remember and you got it down on the piece of paper, and that's the and is helping you to be able to retrieve it if you require. There is a lot of people who, speaking to me during coaching sessions, struggle with time. In business, it's a very difficult task to do, simply because when we run business, we really are in business 24/7. However, when we have a family, this needs to be also managed. So what I usually suggest is that we need to plan our personal life and the business life together. And for this, the best way is to have a diary that have got a week to view, which is much easier. It helps you to manage your time better. And what I normally do is I suggest that you fill, as your diary has got the times given, usually every hour, I suggest that you put down in your diary every single task for the day that you do. So, example, if you starting, let's say, if you're getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and the first thing you do is go for a run or for a walk, put it down in your diary. So let's say 5 till 5:30, walk or running. When you return, you take a shower, fine, put it in the diary. Time for myself, personal care. And let's say at 6:30 you're starting your breakfast. At 7 o'clock your children are getting up. And at 8 o'clock you leave the house, take the children to school or to the nursery. And at 9 o'clock you start your work in the office. So the first thing is in the office, 9 o'clock. What you do, let's say if it is a meeting with your partners or a meeting with your staff or briefing with your managers, put this down into your diary. Even if it is every day, you need to have that in your diary. Your lunchtime or every meeting that you have, your telephone call that you have scheduled, maybe a Skype call, maybe a FaceTime, whatever plans you have for the day, put them down in your diary. And then when you come home at say 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the evening, do put in the diary, if you have a sit-down meal with your family, and spend the time, say 1 hour between 6:30 and 7:30 with your children. Or maybe if you read a bed story to your children, do put that down. That is my quality time with a parent, with the family, because that will help you to keep to this. Because if you can imagine, when you do your diary for your business or for your career at work, you tend to stick to that, don't you? So if you have say a meeting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon with the customer, you do tend to keep that. So why don't you do the same thing with your family? Make an appointment with your family. Make a time for your family. This is very, very important because it keeps your balance, it gives you harmony, and it gives you a stability. So when you do that enough times, you will be able to have that implemented into your mind, and your mind time clock will be ticking and giving you the reminders. So it is important that our life is timed. This is how it is. This is how we work, unless we have other people running our business, and we can spread that time in a different way. And yes, put it in the diary. Whichever situation you are in, however good you are, and however however sorry, how much time you can give to your family, do put it in the diary, because that's very important. um, and it will give you a sense of accomplishment. It will give you also the sense of planning and setting goals for you and the family. So the balance is very important. You need to have the balance between the work, your business, and between the family. And the last thing in the evening, which I really, really strongly suggest, is that you spend at least half an hour for yourself. So if it is, for instance, sitting down quietly in a quiet part of your house, um, closing your eyes and just emptying your head from anything, or if it is simply planning your next day, or maybe uh, reviewing what you have done on the day, it is a fantastic way to regenerate your strength, and it will be quite pleasing to you when you wake up the next morning, finding that your brain didn't go to sleep, but was really working towards achieving your success. Um, and the step that I very strongly support in every way, and this is something that all successful people do, is that they always do their best to be surrounded with people who are the winners, who are achievers. So if you have a networking group that you can join in your area, and be surrounded with successful people, or if you can go to regular meetings, maybe in the evening, where there is a group of successful people brainstorming each other, maybe discussing possibilities. Do surround yourself with the successful people, because that is the environment you wish to be. That is the environment that will be supporting you in your journey, and that is the environment that will also provide you a lot of knowledge, share lots of experiences, which can prevent mistakes on your part. And step that we all forget, even though we try to remember, is that we need to learn also to live well. And live well means to exercise, to have a proper diet, to rest, to spend time with family, and gain that not just spiritual balance, but also the physical balance, which is probably the most important, because what will you do if you are not healthy? What will you do if you cannot move? What will you do if you are so tired that your brain is so full and is not capable to think straight? So you need to take care of yourself. You need to know how to live well. So certain habits in the morning, certain habits during the day, certain habits during the evening, and some of those habits are simple. When you get up first thing in the morning, do have a 5 minutes to 15 minutes meditation. If you don't really know what meditation is, it's basically emptying your mind, is allowing your mind to take in information from within, from the source. That is something extremely important. In fact, one of the most successful businessmen in UK, Nigel Botterill, he has got a habit of staying completely locked away from anyone, with the telephone switched off, with the internet switched off. He sits an hour and a half first thing in the morning in his office, simply building his business. And the way he is doing is basically sitting down and with the closed eyes, just emptying his head and allowing the information to flow into his mind, the information from above. So if you might think that there are things that rushing in the morning is most important for you, then if you can try to spend 15 minutes in the morning to meditate, or just to sit in a quiet and just allow thoughts to come into your mind and remember those thoughts, then do so. It will help you. It will have your brain working far better. If you prefer, you can go for a walk to the park or maybe around your area, and also allow your mind to go quiet. You will be able to feel better and hear much more than you have done up to now. It is so important that we do exercise and we refresh our mind, because we take so much information every single minute into our brain, and we only can process very few pieces of information. So why should we clog our mind with lots of rubbish when we can actually keep our mind clean and away from all these toxins that are happening by messages from the press, from television, from radio, etc. So keep your mind clean as much as possible, because that will help you to achieve what you want to achieve. I hope that this video is helpful. Look out for the next one, and I'm looking forward to see you again. Thank you very much.